Hello, and welcome to our edition of Your Schools. This is a program where the East Granby Public School shares with the community events and initiatives and programs that are ongoing in our schools or new to our schools. This is our 4th edition. In this edition, we feature Missy Bavaro-Grandy, who is principal of East Granby Middle School. Our host this evening is Mrs. Michelle Holt, and she is secretary to the East Granby Board of Education. Michelle, welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thank you, Dr. Mahoney. My pleasure, again, to be here on Your Schools and to introduce to our viewers Missy Bavaro-Grandy, our principal, as you said, of the middle school. And just want to, looking forward to having a chat with you, learning more about the middle school. But first, Missy, could you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the folks at home in our community get to know you a little bit better?
Sure, and it's a pleasure to be here to talk about all the wonderful things at East Granby Middle School. I am Missy Bavaro-Grandy. I am in my 23rd year in education.
Wow.
I started in psychiatric hospitals with significantly emotionally disturbed children and began public education in '95 as a special ed teacher. I had the wonderful opportunity to start an alternative program in the district I worked for. Became a vice principal there. Came to the wonderful town of East Granby for the 2006-2007 school year, in which I was principal of the high school.
Of the high school.
Yes. And I am in my 3rd year as principal of East Granby Middle School.
Wow, that's great. So it's quite a, spans a lot of one group of students to another, but the middle school is very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So happy. If you could take some time too to tell us a little bit about in what ways does the vision and goals, your vision and goals of the middle school align with the district goals? How do you see it fitting in?
Sure. I think first and foremost is the academic portion of our program, which is why we are here every day. East Granby is long-standing with wonderful opportunities for kids to show their academic talents. A couple examples for our 2nd year in aligning with the Connecticut Core. As a school, we firmly believe that we are all teachers of reading and writing. We have taken on a project school-wide where every teacher focuses for at least one major project in which children kind of encompass the elements of reading and writing and research and presenting. This is a very focused endeavor on all the teachers' part, and again, understanding that all of this together will allow for children to reach those high expectations that they're all capable of. We also have had our students do very well on local, state level, national level tests and opportunities. We have done very well when we are all involved in the CMT. We continue to excel in the science portion with, I believe it's 90% at goal for our 8th grade students, which is the only group right now that is taking the CMT in the middle school. We have had students participate in the Daughters of American Revolution essay history contest, and I believe we've placed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd since 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
Quite an accomplishment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've also had other writing awards that have gone along with our, our teachers kind of guiding our students. I think just the key is our teachers are invested in their own professional learning. And I really believe that through their own professional development, we have the best practices going on in our building.
It comes through to the students and to the families when they're able to focus on their learning as well. So, middle school, I know, is a very unique time in a student's life for a lot of reasons. And what are some of the unique programs that go on in the middle school?
Sure. I think we do have some unique programs, and I think we have some maybe typical programs that I think we're excellent at. I think one of the highlights that we have embraced is our I Lead 21 program. I believe you probably learned a little bit about it through the high school or Seymour School. I think in the middle school, though, it really is a time for kids to flourish. They're still very curious about the learning process and really willing to take risks. We have seen so many efforts on the student level that have really enhanced their levels of collaboration and problem solving and working as a team and looking for the greater good in things. What is unique about the iLead 21 program, it doesn't stand alone. It's a program that enhances other areas of our academics.
Right, it uses all the different
Absolutely.
pieces from all the
And
different
our
subjects.
teacher works in concert with our other area discipline teachers to really work together on projects. So it's enhancing in the classroom and the skills through iLead.
Jumping ahead just a little bit, that's
Sure.
An iLead program is the type of program. Would you say that has the 21st century learner kind of those core principles?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and technology?
Absolutely. All of those 21st century skills that are so important, you know, perseverance and collaboration and problem solving, and really not giving the children the answer and having them figure it out. And if things don't work exactly well, and the details that go into the planning for them. I work with the teacher as well, so when plans kind of come to fruition, they sit with me and we go through really the details to follow through. And the kids are really excited about the projects that they've done.
Now, is iLead a program that's in all the grades in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th?
It is.
Okay.
This year, the students do participate in iLead for a full quarter in all 3 grades.
In all 3 grades?
Yes.
Oh, good. Very good.
You know, there's a continuation of that program as well going into the high school, and all of our students are required to take that leadership course when they get into the high school, and we have an entrepreneurship course that sort of follows that. So if a student really wants to pursue some of those areas within the leadership strand, they certainly can do that. I can recall, Missy, that last year, some of the students who were in the iLead program actually planned the orientation
They did.
for the incoming
Sixth
sixth grade
graders.
class,
Wow.
and they did a beautiful job. So it is a program that is teaching students wonderful skills, but also gives them an opportunity to practice and you know, hone those skills and be able to do something wonderful for their school and for their peers.
Yeah. And leadership is not new per se
Right.
in East Granby. The students have always done wonderful programs through their labs and all of their courses. This really has enhanced it and brought it to a different level.
Right, yeah. Well, great. Well, it sounds like it's a wonderful program, and I'm sure all the kids are enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. That's great. Yeah.
And if I just may
no,
just
please,
speak
keep going.
of a couple more programs,
Yeah,
you know, that we have.
absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure you just didn't have one.
I don't. I'm going to try and highlight a few. I think the challenge is really to summarize some of the things going on. We do have the partnership with Nantucket Community College, which is absolutely unique. Part of the Comprehensive Middle School of East Granby Middle School gives students an opportunity to try many possible career paths, and I think exposure to manufacturing in middle school really can help students as they get older and start choosing, you know, their electives, just as they can take, you know, field and consumer science and art courses and PE health. It gives them another strand to develop. Invention Convention was new for the middle school last year, and we shined. We had 10 students, or 9 students, almost 10% of the students that participated kind of end up in that final award category at Gimple Pavilion statewide, which is for a first time was remarkable. And I only expect that it's going to grow from there. We also have Poetry Night, which is wonderful. I'm not sure, I know Dr. Mona, you've attended, I'm sure Ms. Holt, you've attended also. We had about 150 guests at our poetry night last year.
Evening, yes.
Absolutely, and that kind of brings the creative, which is another one of those 21st century skill, the creative endeavors of our students to be able to write original poetry and present it, which is very difficult to do in front of a full house. We have a guidance program that allows students to survey their goals and interests so they can make some informed decisions as they get older. It is through Naviance, which many people might associate with high school because it does a lot with college searches.
Okay.
However, we do have that starting in grade 6 with a lot of the interest surveys.
Okay.
And the final thing I just wanted to touch on with our programs, and this is a surprise to Dr. Mahoney, so I apologize ahead of time.
It's good. It's okay.
It's a good surprise. I was just informed by one of our teachers, Mr. Simeone, that we have been awarded an Anderson Award, and we will be starting Odyssey of the Mind in middle school.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
So we will be, there is a chapter, I believe, down in Seymour,
Yes, there
and we
is.
have kids that are ready to
Ready to
go.
go, right.
So this will
Awesome.
allow us in our inaugural year
Yeah.
to cover the cost to start the program.
Oh,
So that just came
wonderful.
through at about 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Oh, that's really
news.
news.
That's really
news.
That's really, really
Yeah,
great.
that's
Oh,
great.
that's wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Please extend
Awesome.
congratulations.
Yeah, it'll be
to
fun.
the class.
It'll be
Yeah.
fun to watch the kids. They're ready to go.
Yeah,
That's
wonderful.
great. Speaking of, we were touched upon already, the skills and things that that are important for 21st century learners. And is there more that are essential, or those that are just developing, or that you're focusing on in the middle school, that you want to highlight, other than the ones, I mean, we have mentioned a couple, so we can, but through technology, how are we using technology in the middle school? Maybe there's a new
Sure.
class being offered, in
Coding.
addition to the ones, right? that I
Yes,
could- just
yes.
was
Thank you,
escaping me for a
Michelle. I
minute.
didn't even have that in my notes.
But,
Yes.
If you could talk a little bit about that
Sure,
particular class and
absolutely.
technology.
I don't think there's an option with technology. It is here.
Right.
I think what's important as educators is how we utilize technology and how we infuse it into our teaching and our assessment. It's really important that technology isn't just something added on, but that it enhances the learning of our children. We are fortunate with the technology available to us. We are almost at a one-to-one. We're about halfway there, and it does make a big difference. There are so many opportunities for children online. We are fully engaged in the Google platform, so our students absolutely know how to share documents on Google and collaborate on Google, and they do it with not only their peers, but with their teachers as well. It changes so quickly that whatever was a focus for us, say last year, we find that this year the kids already have that and have had that experience. So we are always changing our computer literacy class, which is offered to our children in 6th grade, because it's really dependent on what skills they come to us with. We do focus a lot, however, on validating websites and how to find the right sources for the research project. So we absolutely use technology in a variety of ways.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, and it is a challenge for anybody, to keep up with the kids these days and
It
what
is,
they're learning
yes.
and all of that. Where could parents go if they wanted to find out more about the programs at the middle school? I know a lot of obviously parents know about the website, our Edline website, but what are some of the resources on our school website that could parents could see as other descriptions of the for instance iLead program or the
As we continue to enhance our program, we will be adding them more into the student handbook or the planner.
Okay.
We do have some links online. We are exploring with a new website, which I feel one of the ways that we can perhaps improve in that area. I think we're always looking at ways to improve. Is for some additional information, for parents. We do have open house night. We do have open communication with parents, through our teams. So lots of times it's done on an individual level, but we do have we don't necessarily have a program of studies in the middle school as you would find in a high school, but open house night, we do have a summary of all the courses that the children would take during their 3 years at the middle school.
Oh, no, that's good. So we've been talking about a lot of the programs at the middle school, but what are some of the qualities that you're most proud of at the middle school?
I think when it comes down to it, it's excellent teaching. Separate from the technology that we have and the resources, it comes down to the person that stands in front of the children every day. I really firmly believe that we have the best teachers at East Granby Middle School. We all have our challenges in education, but when you know your teachers are dedicated, they learn on their own best practices. We are very fortunate at the middle school to have team time. So teachers every 2 out of 3 days do meet as a team.
As a whole group.
As a whole group,
Yeah.
the 4 content areas. And they speak of every child.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to make sure that we are helping every child succeed is, you know, part due to the size of our school. It's one of the probably the best advantages to the number of students that we have in our school is that individual attention. I think it's continuous assessment of the children. So the teachers have their thumb on top of, you know, the daily progress. It's not about that final, you know, test grade or, you know, quarter grade, but all along that get them there. And I think really just the passion that they have for their content area. We have teachers that love their content area across the board, which is huge.
Yeah.
You know,
It really shows.
I believe they enjoy coming to work. We have a great group of students, a caring group of students, and great family support.
Right. They've achieved a lot. The different classes in, you know, they're taking on their own initiatives for fundraising or for different causes. I just am always pleasantly surprised when you hear, you know, how a couple of students go in with an idea and they're able to develop it. And I think in the teachers, you know, go right along with them and really encourage them. It's such a great age.
We have a lot of efforts going on a regular basis throughout all grade levels. You know, we have supported children's cancer research. We have supported the Wounded Warrior Project for a few years now. The children put on a concert with Miss Rosenstein, our social studies teacher, where they raised money for disadvantaged children on a reservation in South Dakota. Currently, we have the next top turkey race going on.
We are close to Thanksgiving.
Yes,
so
we are. And they do have the theme of the Thanksgiving dinner. But this isn't just a typical can drive. I actually asked Ms. Hebler if the food pantry is aware of what is coming to them tomorrow. The children, this is a school-wide effort.
Right.
This came from 2 of our 8th grade students.
Yeah.
We are over $400 in cash and 1,400 food items.
Wow.
And Friday I was walking around as children were bringing in their food, but just to see the enthusiasm that they have, it's a healthy competition. But to know that this is going to their community is just wonderful.
That is, you know, a really warming, you know, sense when you know that these kids that get really challenge each other and they're very committed, and once they get something going in their mind, I think they just really take off with it.
Yes.
So that's wonderful.
I think that the, you know, charity and philanthropy and community awareness is a very strong trait in our schools, starting from Carl Allgrove with our pre-K. They do the coat drive, and at R.D. Seymour School they just seem to have one charity after another, and it just carries through into the middle school and the high school. And I think really that is a really strong trait for us.
Yeah. And it definitely is and it ties in too with. Obviously, what they're learning in class. I know they've really connected a lot of their studies, you know, with different programs.
Absolutely, and there's research that goes into it. In planning, many times, because we are small, we have to. The children would love to support every cause, but many times they will present to their class, and then as a class they would choose maybe 2 or 3 to focus on, so that we can make a good contribution to that cause.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, we have highlighted many of the ways that the school is connected to the community. What are some of the things that, as parents and as members of the community, what can, you know, and our viewers that are watching this, what can we do for the middle school, you know, as far as supporting, you know, what's going on there? Any ideas come to mind?
Well, I think there's already great support for the school system. There's no question about that. You know, when we need volunteers, we have a small PTO. It's a core group of parents that kind of lead the efforts of the PTO. I think anytime that it is asked for a fundraising or a support, it's not done often, but there are just a few key times throughout the year because the PTO really does support, you know, all the children. So any fundraising efforts will go to help diminish the cost of a field trip that gets applied to all students. You know, and they do have some mini funds available, you know, when teachers request.
Mini grant.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say the PTO has done a good job of finding ways to work in fundraising with what you would probably be doing. You know, like with the dinner, they have the dinners at different restaurants. Be able to tie that in. So for those that are watching and people that are in the community can participate.
Yeah, I think knowing that there's a lot of fundraising, so I think they really make a concerted effort to look for things that might not cost extra money. So if you're going out to dinner, go out on this particular night, your children are going to eat anyway, and some proceeds will go back to the school. A little does go a long way, and I think that really comes through to our kids. We do see them kind of recognizing and paying forward that one person, one outreach, $1, you know, one chance, you know, does make a big difference.
It really does. Great. Well, this has been a lovely conversation this afternoon. We thank you so much for coming and talking with us about the middle school. Thank you, Missy.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Mahoney.
Thank you.
We will have another edition of Your School soon.
Yes, we will. We will be featuring Carly Allgrove School pretty soon. And we will also be talking with our Pupil Services Director so that we can share information with our viewers about, you know, the services that we offer in our town for our students with disabilities.
That's great. Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. It's our pleasure. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.